Hi, welcome to the Small Shed. This week we're back onto the neck for Spirit, the guitar. See you in a minute. Now, when we last left the guitar, the neck was roughly cut out and I put the truss rod in. This week I want to try and get the neck to the right shape in profile, and that had its few adventures with the router table, and then we can get the actual fretboard stuck on and see how we go on from there. Let's go and have a look at it. Now, business as usual with the neck. I'm just going to get the template, pop it on with a bit of super glue and route it to the finished size using the template as the guide. Now, for the routing on the neck, I've splashed out on a new top bearing Triton router bit, so we should have best possible chance of getting that done cleanly. Definitely not very happy with that end cut on there. The rest of it's perfect, but what I'm going to have to do there is glue that, clamp it, and probably get there with sanding on that part, because it really just pulling it apart down the long grain. Just force a bit of glue down into the bits that have gone. Something, as I say, certainly I'll have to watch in future. I knew that the end grain of maple was a bit of a no-no to route. You've got to really get it sanded, I think, down to almost the line, although I wasn't taking a great deal off. As I say, I don't think there's any harm done. I think the finished job will be something you won't see, but it's just a bit disappointing. And it goes so spectacularly wrong, but we will see. Put a bit of masking tape over it just to keep the glue off the clamp, and we'll put a clamp on the end and see how that goes and come back to it when it's dry. Sand it. That's squeezing all the glue out the joint. So hopefully that gets us back to where we were with the wood, and we can move on. But otherwise, quite happy with the job we've done. So that's the repair carried out on that corner. Fortunately, I mean, you can hardly see it anyway, there's still a little bit of tearing in the grain there. I filled it with a bit of sawdust when I was gluing it up as well. But when you think about it, that is going to be buried inside the neck pocket, so none of the back will show anyway, and it will be hidden by the side of the guitar and the fretboard as well. So fortunately it'll all be hidden, but I'm reasonably happy that even if it was showing, could be made by the time it was sanded up into a perfectly normal piece of wood. The idea is now that I can put the truss rod in, bed it in a bit of silicone, and then the fretboard will go on top, and that will be accessible through there to be able just to put the spoked truss rod adjuster in and use that. So that's ready to glue up now. Last thing I want to do before I get the fretboard on is just mark the tuner holes. They'll be drilled out later, but it's the last chance I've got to be able to get the template on flat. Now I'm going to clamp the fretboard on in what is, I hope, the right place before I glue it up. The problem with glue is that it's a bit slippy, and therefore if you glue close surfaces and then you clamp it, you've not got any guarantee that it's not moving while you're clamping it. So I just want to put a couple of very small holes through the fretboard into the neck, 1mm diameter, once it's lined up exactly right, dead on centre line, not in the right place. And what I'll do then is I'm going to drill them through the fret position so they won't be seen anywhere. I shall just put a little bit of brass rod or something through into the neck so that when you're clamping up they'll be in exactly the right place. Effectively it's just like a little dowel, one on each side. Put them in there and there, the little dowels, just nip them off. What it means is that when I come to actually put the fretboard on, once I'm gluing up, it won't be able to slide around. Brilliant. Now that's just about reaching another point of no return with this. I want to glue the fretboard on. Just going to put some masking tape down the side of the neck just to keep the glue squeeze out under control. And then once that's done, we'll set the truss rod in with a bit of mastic and get gluing up and hope it'll all go okay. That's it. Just keep things tidy, that's all. Suppose I could put a bit across the neck as well. That's about there. I've made myself a clamping coil up just out of a bit of flat stock timber with some foam rubber on it, because obviously I've got a shaped neck. The truss rod itself can come out for a moment while we put a spot of silicone in each end and just a blob in the middle. And that's just to bed it in and keep it nicely in place without any risk of it rattling. So hopefully for the last time it's going in there. Right, just clean it all off with a bit of isopropyl alcohol, just to make sure all the surfaces are as clean as they can be. And out with the tight bond. I think I'll just put a bit of masking tape down the middle of the truss rod to keep all the glue out of there. Take it off at the last minute. And just take the tape off. And away we go. One end on, second end on. Paper just cleaned up a bit. Put the clamping caul on. Put some clamps on it. Start in the middle, I think. Starting to get a lot of squeeze out now, so hopefully we'll get a decent tight joint. Without any gaps. So that's it for at least a couple of hours. It's 3:30 now in the afternoon, so I shall probably leave this now until tomorrow morning. It's 24 hours until you put any stress on it, but it won't be getting any stress by just taking the clamps off, and then we can perhaps think about routering the fretboard edges tomorrow afternoon. So not too much progress this week, I don't think, but we've learned a few things about the way maple splits when you put it on the end of a router, and it is hopefully all repaired well enough not to be a problem, so successful in some ways. Hope you enjoyed the video. Look forward to seeing you next week. We'll be doing something different, and I'll see you then. Bye.